Morning, everybody. On your Do Now today, you're describing to me how you manage your money, how you save, how you spend, any sort of plans you have. Because we're starting a new unit today, and this is going to be the unit we're doing until the end of the trimester. So another 2.5, 3 weeks worth of this. It's going to all be around personal finance. So how you manage your money, how you pay your bills, how you get a job, how you pay taxes, all those things. So our goal for this week is all about how to get a job, how to manage money, how to save money. And then we'll start getting into how to pay bills, taxes, create a budget, how do you make adult decisions. During this unit, if you have any questions, I really encourage you to ask them. Um, this is for you. This is something you have to do. All right? There's a good chance you might not be using your math as an adult, or reading poems, or talking about history as an adult, but you have to do all of these things. Some of you are doing them already. So ask me questions so we can figure out. I'm not an expert on everything, but we can hopefully figure out the answer. What sort of questions do you already have about finance? Like, what are your biggest concerns? What do you want to do for a living, and how do you get that job? All right, so the goal for today is to understand like kind of how to get a job and plan for a career. And I say job versus career because jobs are like stuff you're doing for the money. Career is like, what do you want to be doing with your life? All right, what sort of job do you want to have for long term? So for me, like I've worked at Burger King, I've worked at Denver Mattress, I've worked in dining hall at college. None of those were careers; those were just jobs to make me money. My career, my goals were around teaching. And so, what are your jobs and career goals? We'll be looking at that today, different sort of skills that we have and what sort of goals we want. To find a job, obviously, you got to find out who's hiring. There's lots of different job sites, Indeed.com, Monster.com. There's lots of different things like that organize different sites to help you find out who's hiring. Um, there's lots of applications to fill out, digital ones. You can go to like McDonald's or Walmart's website and fill out applications. And there's an old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's a big deal. If you know someone already in the company, in the job, they can put in a good word for you, you're more likely to get that job. All right, so when you're filling out your application, you need to know all your personal information, birthday, address, phone number, stuff like that. You'll have to have fill in your education levels. So you are all currently in high school, but once you graduate, you're going to have your high school diploma um, completion and the date and everything. Any other job history, you need to know the name of the company, probably the address, definitely the phone number, and who is your direct supervisor of any jobs you've had in the past. And any references, people who will put in a good word for you. Teachers, community, probably not like parents or friends, but old bosses. Teachers are good coaches, things like that. And you're going to want to know your availability. When are you able to work? So most of you right now can't work Monday through Friday, 8:20 to 3:40. Right? You have school. Once they like your application, right, they'll call you in for an interview. Or if you want, after you apply, give it a few days or a week and then call them and ask them, are they still hiring? And you put in your application and you're wondering about your status. But when they do, they'll call you back. They'll ask you to come in for an interview. You should know what you're interviewing for. You should know a little bit about the job, do some research about the company, the different job that they're offering. Plan ahead, be prepared. Dress professionally, dress a little bit nicer than the job, is how they kind of describe it. So if you're working at McDonald's, maybe dress up a little bit, but you're not going to show up in a suit and tie. Some of the questions they'll ask you, things like tell me about yourself, why do you want to work here, describe your weaknesses, the time you overcame a challenge, previous work, how do you work with others. These are questions they're going to ask, or some version of this. You should have answers prepared for each one of these. You should have something you know you're going to say and how you're going to say it. You should have questions you want to ask them. All right? They're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them if you want to actually work there. So ask them exactly what's expected, when and where can I report, who will manage or train me. You don't have to ask things about how much am I going to get paid. All right? Not in like the first round of interview. Once you've gotten the job, then that conversation can start. As you get further into your career, you might need a resume. This is basically a piece of paper that sort of summarizes who you are and why you're a good worker. You might need a cover letter. That's just a letter to employers telling you what you can and can't do. These are usually pretty short. You don't want to make them too long. You want to use a lot of good buzzwords depending on your profession and keep it professional. All right? You don't want any proofreading marks. When you do get hired, they're going to ask you to fill out a W-4 tax form. This is to start your taxes because as you work, they're going to take taxes out before you get it on your paycheck. So you got to fill this out when you're hired. And it's basically the government saying, how much should we be taking out of your paycheck? Should we take the normal amount, or are there reasons why we shouldn't be taking as much out? So if you have like kids or you have different payments you have to pay, like you will have to ask for different exemptions and reasons why you shouldn't have to pay as much. Most of you have no reason for that. You need to have an actual legal reason. So you can just say, none. There's no reason why, and they'll take the full amount, which is the safest way to do it. This is the form. You fill it out. You say if you're single or married, if there's any amount of money that should not be taken out, you fill it in. For most of you, there'll be nothing. Our goal for today is to analyze some of our different job skills and then research some careers that we might be interested in.